Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q4 FY21 earnings conference call of Onward Technology Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Anuj Sonpal from Valorem Advisors. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Anuj Sonpal from Valorem Advisors. We represent the investor relations of Onward Technologies Limited. Before we start, I hope everybody joining us today is safe and well. Moving on behalf of the company, first of all, let me thank you for participating in the company's earnings conference call for the fourth quarter and financial year ended 2021. Before we begin, let me just give a quick, short cautionary statement. Some of the statements made in today's con call may be forward-looking in nature. Such forward-looking statements are subject to risks and uncertainties which could cause actual results to differ from those anticipated. Such statements are based on management's beliefs as well as assumptions made by and information currently available to management. Audiences are cautioned not to place any undue reliance on these forward-looking statements in making any investment decisions. The purpose of today's earnings conference call is purely to educate and bring awareness about the company's fundamental business and financial quarter under review. Now, let me introduce you to the management participating with us in today's earnings conference call. We have with us Mr. Jigar Mehta, Managing Director, Mr. Vignesh Kumar, Executive Vice President and Head of Sales for USA and Europe, and Mr. Devanand Ramadasani, Chief Financial Officer. Now, without any further delay, I request Mr. Jigar Mehta to start with his opening remarks. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anuj. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the earnings conference call for the fourth quarter and financial year 2021. I hope everybody is keeping safe and is well and warm, especially people in Bombay. Before we get into the earnings highlights, since this is our first ever earnings call, let me start by giving some background about our company, Onward Technologies, so everybody's on the same page. Onward Technologies is a leading a niche player in the engineering research and development, which is the ER&D space and digital engineering space, offering digital transformation, embedded system, mechanical engineering, data analytics, AI, machine learning services. We have a strong team of 2,000 plus employees today, operating from multiple locations in USA, in UK, in Europe, and in India. We are headquartered at Worli, Mumbai, and we have offices in Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Ohio, London, Frankfurt, and multiple locations like Pune, Chennai, and Bangalore in India. Our engineering and technology consultants work across 4 industry domains, which is transportation and mobility, industrial equipment and heavy machinery, healthcare, and the high-tech spaces. Majority of our top fast-growing clients are direct OEMs, where we have been servicing them for the last number of years. Our biggest strength our background lies in mechanical engineering and IT services, and our biggest investment going forward is towards embedded systems and digital services. We have a young and dynamic team with a hunger of excellence, supported by experienced management and a strong board of directors. Over the last few years, we have been consciously transforming our services from our low-margin traditional domestic IT services to high-margin, high-tech services in ER&D and digital transformation space. Our old IT services clients are being transitioned also to the digital services gradually, and client spend is increasing in the digital transformation, as all of you guys are aware of, and which will lead to margin expansion going forward. The company's clear future growth strategy is to enrich deeper into our existing customer by investing in people, enhancing our capabilities, and contributing more deeply towards their complex, high-tech digital transformation, mechanical engineering, and embedded technology requirements. We have a consistent track record of giving dividends for the last 5 years, and we are committed to improving our shareholder return year on year. Through our transformation journey over the last few years, we have been able to generate robust cash flows and have also become net debt free. Now I hand over the call to our CFO, Mr. Devanand Ramadasani, to give you the financial highlights. Over to you, Dev. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Good afternoon, everyone, and trust everybody is safe and healthy on this pandemic situation. So let me take you through the fourth quarter financial performance of our company at consolidated level. Our operating income for the quarter 4 was 66 crore, which was increased from approximately 1% on year-on basis and 15% quarter-on-quarter basis. The operating EBITDA reported is 3.8 crores with the EBITDA margin of 5.7%, and the net profit after tax reported was rupees 2.1 crore. Q4 FY20 revenue increased due to increase in the demand from the existing growth clients, while primarily due to exiting of low margin group work in the international market. The decline in EBITDA margin was primarily due to increase in employee costs for the strengthening the delivery and the sales team globally. Now taking you about performance of the FY21 on the consolidated basis. The operating income was 240 crores for full year, which was decreased approximately by 11% on year-on-year basis. Operating EBITDA reported 17.3 crores with the operating EBITDA margin at 7.2%. And the net profit after tax reported was rupees 7.4 crore, which was a growth of 19% on year-on-year basis. During the year, company has received the money and funds from the under Paycheck Protection Program called as PPP in USA subsidiary in the tune of about 2 million, and INR conversion is 14.6 crores. After receipt the approval from the forgiveness of loan from the regulatory authorities, and the amount and the interest provided on the loan in the P&L will be classified as the income in the profit and loss in the corresponding quarter. It is important to note that if the waiver had come through in the current financial year, the actual consolidated EBITDA margin would have been reported at the rate 13.3%, not the 7.27. And lastly, the board of directors has recommended final dividend of 3 rupees per share for the financial year 2021, subject to shareholders' approval. Now I request Vignesh Kumar to take you through some of the key operating highlights for the quarter and future growth outlook. Vignesh, over to you.
Thank you very much, Devanandji. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to talk to you all today. Let me start by saying that in Q4 financial year 21, the company added 5 new customers. We also added new offices in Amsterdam, Netherlands, and also plan to set up another office in Toronto, Canada, to increase our global geographical footprint and garner new potential customers from these geographies. Our newly inducted sales team for USA has been completely aligned with offshore delivery team, which will result in increasing the offshore revenue and boost margins as well. We are very confident of our future growth outlook due to increasing demand from our top 20 customers. We are also witnessing an increasing number of orders from the healthcare industry during this quarter, and we are positive that this segment will be a significant contributor to revenues in coming years. We continue to see significant opportunity in embedded and digital line of services, and we plan to increase focus to meet client demand. We have added various global marquee companies as customers during the year, which are expected to become million-dollar accounts in the future. With that, we can now open the floor to question and answer session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So we'll now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Swacha Jain from ANS Wealth. Please go ahead.
Hi, this is Hardik Jain on behalf of Swacha. Good evening, sir. Thanks for holding this call. So just wanted to understand, so we are into engineering services, engineering and IT services. So in this, do we have some kind of order book that we can share with investors that will give us some kind of picture about the business? Hello.
Yes, Hardik, I can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me? So I was asking, sir, do we have some kind of order book that we can disclose?
Yeah. So, but actually, I will tell you how our organization order book has been structured. There are customers who are giving the repeat revenue on that. So our repeat revenue ratios are 60 to 70% year-on-year basis. Where the project-based business, where we can't anticipate that the project will continue after the getting over or the new project will come into the same client on that, there we have to scout for the new business on that. So our repeat revenue, or you can say our order existing customer revenues are 60 to 70% on that.
So this existing customer revenue that we say 60 to 70%, just for the clarification, so this kind of a project that we have delivered to our customers and we get some kind of annuity business from them. Is it that kind of revenue we are talking about?
Yes. It's a repeat business, means the services which we are rendering to them, they are happy customer and they continue with our business with them, and they allow us to issue the extended PO for that.
So this kind of an annual service that we provide to them.
Yes.
Okay, so 60 to 70% of revenue that we recorded this year is from the repeat annuity kind of a business.
Agree.
Okay, and regarding the project revenue that you have to that can become lumpy sometimes because it depends on the kind of order inflow. Can we give some clarity at this point in time? How do we see going forward next 3-4 quarters?
This project-based business is going to increase. Reason being, we are seeing a lot of traction, especially the European and the US-based customer. They would like to do the offshore-based business in India. But you know that offshore business has some positive sign as well as a negative sign. Positive sign means you will get the confirmed business, but negative sign is that if your cost has been inflated due to your some reason, then your margin will be affected on this. So we will always be extra cautious on the project-based business on that.
Okay. And out of these 2,000 employees, how many employees would be stationed in India and how many are hired stationed abroad?
The majorities are India. Is about 125 odd people are approximate is outside India, and rest are in India.
Okay, and most of these employees are like permanent employees on our payroll.
Yeah, these are on
100% full-time employees. Can I just jump in? Hi, this is Jigar Mehta here.
Hi.
Give you a bit more. Hi, just to give you more clarity about our business. So, our vision, our goal is to be extended arm of a client's R&D department. So what happens is when you talk about order booking or annuity business, most of our contracts or master services agreement is anywhere from 3 to 5 years.
Right.
Right? And all these contracts are extendable and they usually go on for 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
Now, what happens is, as Dave correctly mentioned, some of the projects, let's say they end after 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. Then those engineers have to be reskilled onto the new technologies or for the phase 2 of the projects.
Right.
And in our experience, especially in the last 5 years when we have been servicing all these large companies, most of projects get extended to for multi-year engagements. Because they are well trained and well groomed on the end customer or OEM's products. So there's a very deep domain knowledge which all these people have.
Okay. Great. Thanks. I'll get back in the queue if I have any more questions.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Yash Sethia from VC Gantwani. Please go ahead. Mr. Sethia, please go ahead with a question. Mr. Sethia, may we request you to unmute yourself if muted from your handset? As there is no response, we will move to the next question, which is from the line of VP Rajesh from Banyan Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi. Congratulations, Jigar. Good quarter. My question was regarding this, the 14.6 crores. So is it what I take away is that it was not recognized in the fiscal year 21, but you will recognize that 14.6 crores in fiscal year 22. Is that correct?
Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon. Thank you. Yes, that's correct. So, the PPP program approval, which was scheduled to be received in Q4 of last year, that got delayed. It's not come through for Onward or any company in the world. And as per the feedback given to us, and it's on the website of the PPP program as well, we receive that anytime over the next few days, weeks.
I see. And auditor said it's best not to recognize it in fiscal year 21.
Absolutely. So both the auditors and our board took a conservative view that let's wait for the final approval, and then we can do that.
Okay. So then, in terms of your margin guidance for fiscal year 22, with this windfall, that should significantly move up, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. And in terms of these 5 new customers that you had, if you want to call out 2 things. One, if you won this against other competitors, and what is the size of this opportunity with these 5?
Absolutely. Vignesh, can you take this one?
Yeah. Generally, when we work on such opportunities, firstly, we have to sign confidentiality agreements, so we cannot name these customers. But the deal sizes vary from $50,000 to few $100,000 initially, because customers first would like to experience the partnership with a new organization like Onward. We have a set of existing customer strategic accounts from where we get a lot of repeat business, but we constantly keep adding new strategic accounts and try to improve our top 20 customer list. So in that, we added 5 good customers, and these are all international customers, MNC customers, with whom we hope to build strong long-term partnerships.
Okay. And Vignesh, will this be offshore business or onshore business?
Majority of our business is offshore business.
Even with these new 5 customers, right?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Thank you. If I have more questions, I'll join back in the queue. Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Apurva Mehta from AM Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. So I just wanted to ask you about you have shown your revenue, 2% of revenue is coming from digital. And so in next 2 years, how will this pie change? Where do you see this pie coming to in next 2 years?
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, I can take this. This is Jigar Mehta here. So we believe our goal, what we are structured around and where our investments are going, are 2%. We have a vision to take this entire revenue, the digital transformation revenue, to close to 50% of our revenues.
Yeah.
And so that's where we see a clear path which we are working with our existing customers. And fundamentally, the biggest drive of this is our customers' R&D budget. So our customers' budget also traditionally, which was very heavy on IT and engineering, is also moving towards digital. So we are carrying along with them towards that journey, and we are seeing huge opportunities. So towards that space.
So we are also, there are two things. The new 5 customers are on the digital ground, coming on the digital platform, and the existing customers who were there in your EDS segment, are they also moving to the digital platform?
Correct. Yes, absolutely. So absolutely well said. So all our new customers that Vignesh spoke about that we have won in the last quarter, and the large funnel that we have today is all on the digital side, on the embedded side, on the electronic side. And our existing customers on the mechanical and IT business also, all the big opportunities are on the digital side. Hence, our digital revenue percentage will grow up much faster than our traditional IT business.
And normally, which sector are you, the digital side is moving? Is it transportation or high tech or medical? Which are the segments which you see huge potential coming from the digital?
So for us, our 2 fastest growing sectors is transportation and mobility, where we have a lot of expertise and customer base on the automotive side. And second for us is on the industrial equipment and heavy machinery, where we work with some of the largest construction equipment, off-highway vehicles, agricultural equipment, mining equipment companies. So this will be the 2 fastest growing areas for us from our existing customers. From our new customers, it will be on the healthcare side, where we are seeing maximum demand today, because obviously they've been shown that they are the recession-proof and depression-proof.
So all the new employees which you are planning to get into it and all these companies are all towards the digital platform, most of them.
Correct. Yes.
And the kind of quality of employee, are you satisfied of, because during the pandemic time, are you getting the right kind of employees and right kind of people you are able to garner them?
Absolutely. We have a huge pipeline of candidates. We have an amazing talent acquisition team, a very strong delivery team, and extremely strong process in terms of interviewing. And we do majority of our new hires are lateral hires, so we're hiring directly from the market. And we've been fortunate enough that we're able to get our numbers are not very high, as significant as the larger companies. So for a company of our size, we are able to onboard and induct, both through references and through social media and job portals, a significant portion of the opportunities, the positions that we have, we're able to close. But our requirement from our customers is growing at a much faster pace, I have to be very honest, and we are working very hard to fulfill those demands.
So going forward, what will be, currently how much we are hiring per month kind of a thing or per week kind of thing? And what is your goal by this year, and we should look at this employee count?
So, Apurvaji, on average, we are right now hiring anywhere from 50 to 100 people per month.
Okay.
Starting April.
Okay.
And
so this count roughly should be around, sorry. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So this count should be roughly around 2,000 count, which is currently there. We should end up 3,000 kind of a number.
Yes, correct. And minus some of the other businesses that we have exited over the contracts will end. So we believe we should be at close to 20. Dave, what's the number? 2,600?
23 to 2,400.
23 to 2,400, yes.
So the pie of ITS will be going down from this year onwards.
Correct, yes.
Okay, thanks a lot, and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Faisal Hawa from HG Hawa and Company. Please go ahead.
So my question is that we have been around from quite a long time, but our EBITDA margins have really not all caught up with even mid-tier companies, and also the revenue growth has not been very robust. So is there any changes we are making from here on to really, position the company in a different manner?
Absolutely. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
My name is Faisal Hawa.
Yes, hi. No, absolutely. The whole business has changed in the last few years and last 12 months in particular. While the situation has been very bad and tensed around the world due to the pandemic, last 12 months have been, from the business perspective, from the client acquisition perspective, and transforming the organization from the high margin, the high volume, low margin business, IT business, to the high margin or engineering business and digital business has been the best for us last 12 months. And that was one of the reasons for the first earnings call today, that we are excited to share data with you guys. We believe the potential is very high for us today with all the customers and the big investments behind us. So you will see substantial margin expansion with Dave talk about. Dave, I'll let you jump on the margin side. But yes, the whole business model has changed in the last few years for us, where we serve some of the biggest companies and brands in the world on the manufacturing side.
So
Dave, can you talk about the margin side?
Yeah. So Faisal, to talk about margin, if you see there's one of the note we have mentioned in the result publication, we have made the expenditure in US to protect our employee and continuation of our payroll expenditure is about 2 million, where the government has to waive the funding. So which will, if you added this into our EBITDA margin is already reached to the 13.2%. But because of some accounting conservative views and approval in yet to be processed, we could not book in the previous financial year. And if we compare with our size of the mid-tier companies, they are ranging between 13 to 15% on that. So we are on track, growth track, and we are making the investment for future, and we are very confident that in coming quarters the result will be better than the previous quarters.
And how long will the old legacy businesses pull back our margins, or will we continue with those businesses as well?
So majority chunk we have already shell out during the financial year, because the contract has get over on that. So we took a hard call and we discontinued the engagement on that. But the whatever the IT business is left is eventually either converted into the digital. It means the high end business work we will do that, which will improve our EBITDA margin on that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Aarti Sharma, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. So I have a couple of questions. So to begin with, I read in your presentation on the operational highlights something about the Paycheck Protection Program in the US to the tune of $2 million. So can you just elaborate a little bit on this? I mean, what exactly is this, and how will it impact us?
Absolutely, Aarti. Hi, this is Jigar here. I can take this up. Aarti, so last year when COVID hit the world in the last March 2020, at that point in time, the entire US was most affected initially, if you remember. So at that point in time, the US government came up with a policy of, one is work from home, that's where all the offices and the country was in complete lockdown. And number two was a policy of PPP, which is a payroll protection program, which said that all the employees, where most of the companies, if you remember the history, a lot of companies were doing large number of layoffs in North America, in US. And that's where the US government came with a policy of everybody who had not done layoffs till now, that they will protect and pay that much money for them, or the people to be on bench and non-billing. So if you see our numbers, so that's what Onward applied for in Q1 of last year, and we became eligible 100%, and hence we got the entire cash also in our books, and that's what is showing today in our books today.
Okay, got it, right. Also, I have
so Onward as our CFO mentioned earlier, Aarti, so since we have already incurred the expense and paid everybody, the expense has been booked, but while the entire cash flow is showing as debt in our books.
Oh, yeah, right.
Which we are hoping, so that's why otherwise company is actually debt-free or net debt zero, and which will get reconciled as soon as we get the final paperwork approval. And this is true for any Indian company or global company operating in North America.
Okay, right. So also my next question, so as from what I understand, we are trying to exit our traditional IT business and expanding and venturing further into the digital transformation space, right? So currently, what are our capabilities in the digital transformation space, and do we have any timeline? Because I recollect in the con call you just mentioned from 2% we're taking it to about 50%, right? So is there any specific timeline that you can guide us on as to when this is happening, and what, and like I said, what are our strengths in the digital transformation space that will enable us to do this transformation?
Absolutely. So I believe timeline is what I'm not supposed to share right now, but yes, we do believe everything is going to happen within the next 3 to 5 years. Again, please keep in mind, as we touch base upon, majority of this is going to happen from our existing customers and some from the new prospects that we are closing. If you look at the customer spend of large manufacturing companies, all of them are going into more and more of whether it's Industry 4.0, Industry IIoT, whether it's going on the cloud, whether it's going on moving on the various SaaS models. So Onward is investing all of them, but behind our existing customers in the transportation and mobility space, which is in the automotive space, in the rail transportation space, in the space of off-highway vehicles, construction equipment.
Okay.
So digitizing and also digitizing large number of records for these customers.
Okay, and talking about customers, so who would be our main clients, and also how is the competitive environment? Because I do believe that you all compete with the larger guys in the IT industry, right? So just wanted to understand who would be our primary clients, plus why would a client choose Onward over any of the other larger players operating in the industry who probably are much more experienced in the space?
So excellent question, Aarti. So this is where for us is the biggest strength and biggest opportunity why we are so excited, and what drives us every day to make it successful and to scale up the business. So we work with some of the biggest, because of confidential reasons I already shared earlier, we can't share the client names. A lot of data is already in our presentations, in our earnings presentation as well. So we work with a lot of Fortune 50 companies, lot of Fortune 500 companies, including Global 2000 companies. And the biggest strength of Onward, being a 30-year-old organization, is the ability to acquire new customers. Now, coming back on the other side, why do these customers choose to work with us? We have an extremely strong mechanical engineering practice for the last 10 years. So it's not a new practice for us. If you look at the history and the balance sheet of our annual reports also from last so many years. Now we are investing more and more, especially over the last 2 years, on the embedded and the digital side. So becoming more and more relevant to our customers. And our customer spread is also going at such a fast pace that we're getting a very good opportunity there. And like most businesses, large global companies, my understanding and my team's understanding is they love young companies because the agility that we bring in, the cost competitiveness that we bring in, and the flexibility that we bring to our customers. So the kind of deal sizes that we are winning today and the opportunity that we are seeing in the market from our existing customers is massive compared to, let's say, a year ago. And we are probably the youngest supplier out there competing against some of the biggest guys. And that gives us a very unique positioning and advantage for us in the market right now.
Sure. Thank you. That's very reassuring. Thank you. All the best for the future quarters. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 now. The next question is from the line of Sweta Jain from ANS Wealth. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I had one question, but I think someone already asked it. So thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants who wishes to ask a question may press star and one now. The next question is from the line of VP Rajesh from Banyan Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Jigar, hi. One question on the clients. So can you talk a little bit more about our top 20 clients in fiscal year 21? They were at 45%. So if you can just give a little more color on the let's say if we got more business in some of those top 10 customers, or somebody moved out and a new customer came in that top 10 client list. If you can just give some color on that, that will be helpful.
Sure, absolutely. So our top 10 customers, if you look at the last 12 months, actually all of them have grown at a very fast pace. The overall numbers are a bit down because as Devanand, our CFO, spoke about earlier, we exited one of our large contracts that we exited last year, which was about more than 600 engineers. And that customer went away from the top 10. So it shows a bit lower, but that was a strategic exit that we had already planned before.
Right.
Now, in these customers, so we traditionally provide mechanical engineering services. That's where our history has been. That's where our background has been. And all the growth, as I was talking about, is coming on the embedded side, on the digital side. And that's where we are ramping up our capacity and capability. Now, these customers have a captive center and a GIC center, or the MNCs in India, and they have obviously their presence in North America and Europe. So we are trying to build capabilities and invest in capacities for them locally in all these markets.
Right. So the other question is, if you look at your fiscal year 20 and 21 revenues, right, and they went down from 271 to 240 crores. If you take out this large customer which you ramped in fiscal year 21, apples to apples, what would be the growth in fiscal year 21?
Sure. Dave, can you take that?
Yeah. So, Mr. Rajesh, I just highlight to you that we are tracking the top 10 customer and the 11 to 20th customer. And what happened this year, 11 to 20th number customer share has been also increased on that. And top 10 customer, if you ask me, that top 1 customer has share increased from 8% to 12% on that. So wallet share is increasing even though apple to apple you are comparing on that.
Okay. Now, I was asking a slightly different question, but I appreciate that information. I was saying that in fiscal year 20, our consolidated revenue was 271 crores, yes, which came down to 240 crores in this Correct. Fiscal year 21.
Correct.
Right? So if we take out the billing to this customer that we, started doing less business with, and subtract the revenue from that customer in both the years, what would these respective numbers be? If you can just give an idea of that.
Okay, so that I have to do the math, but typically if you ask me the previous year when the 271 crore was the revenue, my right. top 10 customer was contributing 46, and after this exit and new customer wallet share, increasing the wallet share of increasing our top 10, my percentage is coming again the 45, is slightly down by 1%, is merely affected on that. Otherwise, we recoup the gap between the percentage of business we lost versus the wallet share increases. Hope I clarified.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true for top 10 customers as a category. I was just interested in understanding if you take out this customer's revenue in both the years, then what was the resultant revenue in both the years? So I can take it offline with you, but sure, I just thought I should.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Apurva Mehta from AM Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Jigar, any guidance for this year? Where can we see ourselves revenue or on the margin front?
Hello,
Jigar.
Yes, hi. So we are, based on the order book that we have and based on the visibility that we have as of today, we believe we should be growing at double digits both in terms of top line and in bottom line.
So on the EBITDA, which we are, last quarter we did somewhat like 13%. Can we take into the consideration that 13% will be a new base for this EBITDA?
Dave, can you answer that?
Apurva, actually, we are not enough to say any guidelines, but as Jigar has already mentioned that we are improving our EBITDA from quarter to quarter and year on year. In the coming quarters, you can see that the improved version of our EBITDA. And that we can say as on date.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. As there are no further questions, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Hi, this is Jigar again. Again, thank you all so much for participating in our first earnings con call. I hope we've been able to answer your questions satisfactorily. If you have any further questions or would like to know more details about Onward Technologies, about our leadership team, about our clients, please reach out to our investor relations managers at Valorem Advisors. Anuj is on the call and his team is also available. Thank you all again. Stay safe and healthy, and I look forward to speaking to you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining the call.
Thank you. We are Comet Energy Limited. That concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.